Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1917B, and today's date is July 15th, 2019, and the title of the episode is The Great Awakening Has Started. Saudi Arabia Epstein access closed. Boom. Now, before I get started, I want to talk about emergencies, disasters. When an emergency strikes, what's your first impulse? If your answer is to run to the grocery store, you'll likely find chaos and nothing but empty shelves. How do you avoid this? It's simple. You use today to make a plan, to prepare. I trust and use my Patriot Supply for my food storage. Have you seen the 2-week food supply in a locking tote from my Patriot Supply? If not, get online now and get a few. And save $62 off the regular price of this 2-week emergency food kit when you go to my special website, preparewithx22.com. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, what we are watching is the Great Awakening. And like I said in my other report, the Great Awakening is not just the draining of the swamp, going after those people that are treasonous, who committed sedition, who committed crimes against the United States. It's about all those individuals, government, maybe not government, central bank, all of it together, waking the entire population, the world, up to what's really going on here in the United States and in many, many countries. The takedown of the deep state has moved from FISA, spying, email scandal, uranium corruption, etc. We're in the part of the plan that will solidify how corrupt, evil these people really are. Think about what is happening right now. Once these individuals are linked to these sex rings, having sex with underage girls or boys, it's game over for them. Think about what has happened already. Present crimes. They've been presenting crimes of these individuals and what they've been doing. Present how they committed the crimes, dripping out all the information, putting all the pieces together. Present the evidence to show that, yes, there is spying. Yes, a lot of these things happened behind the scenes. There were text messages. Show corruption, treason, sedition. Think about what just happened at the border, where we had Clinton and Pelosi out there telling everyone how to evade U.S. laws. That's sedition. Think about treason, where secrets were sold to other countries. To bring this all home, what do we need to do? Well, this is all fine and good, showing all of this. But to really get these individuals where there's no coming back, and you need to destroy their reputation. You need to show how evil these people really are. So to do this, you have to expose the rest. And the rest is Epstein, is Nexium, is everything else that's coming out right now. Because once people see, hear, and understand what these individuals have done, and this is just not your low-life individual that nobody knows about. These are high-profile politicians, princes, Hollywood elites, wealthy financiers. These people who we were told to look up to, they're the ones who are going to be in the spotlight. And once people understand who they are and what they've done, there is no coming back. The reputation of these people are then ruined. Since they can do something like this, it's not that far-fetched that they could commit treason, sedition, spy on the president. Where does the trust factor fall now? Do you trust these people, or do you trust Trump? The Patriots? Think about it for a second. That's what's happening right now. We're going to be talking about this a little bit later in this report. But first, let's start out with Trump's tweets. Now, the mainstream media, they're going crazy over these tweets, and they keep using the word racist. Remember, the deep state, the mainstream media, use emotion to push their agenda, not facts. Remember, they're always projecting. And if you really look at it, who are the racists? But let's start with Trump's tweets. He tweeted out the following. So interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world. They even have a functioning government at all. Now, loudly and viciously telling the people of the United States, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? Then come back and show us how it is done. These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi would be very happy to quickly work out free travel arrangements. Now, Trump, he is not backing down from any of this. Actually, he's pushing his agenda forward. Remember, these players are used to people where they say, okay, I'm not going to make any more waves, I apologize, and they back off and they hide in their little hole. Trump doesn't work that way. He goes against these people and he stands firm and he continually pushes against what they're trying to push. And people are starting to realize what's really going on here. Now, Trump, again, he did not back down. He tweeted out the following: "So sad to see the Democrats sticking up for people who speak so badly of our country and who, in addition, hate Israel with a true and unbridled passion. Whenever confronted, they call their adversaries, including Nancy Pelosi, racist. Their disgusting language and the many terrible things they say about the United States must not be allowed to go unchallenged. If the Democratic Party wants to continue to condone such disgraceful behavior, then we look even more forward to seeing you at the ballot box in 2020. Now, Trump, he's doubling down, tripling down on all of this. Here's other individuals that have come out and have tweeted. Matt Wolking. He said, anyone who says that the president told members of Congress to go back to where they came from is lying. He told them to then come back and show us how it is done. Bill Mitchell tweeted out the following: I have read this tweet over and over again, trying to discern how anyone could perceive this as racist in any way. My only conclusion is this: if you are a racist, you see racism everywhere, even in tweets like this one, which have nothing to do with race. He continued, here's a synopsis of Trump's tweet. If you think you can fix America's problems, go back to your corrupt home country, fix theirs, then return to us and show us how it is done. Nothing even remotely xenophobic or racist. Only complete racists themselves would see racism in that. Shireen Qudosi. I came to America as a Muslim immigrant, now a proud American citizen. I stand in full support with our president. If they hate America so much, there are 194 other countries to choose from. No one is stopping Omar from going back to the shithole country she came from. Now, Trump continued with his tweet and he said the following: when will the radical left congressman apologize to our country, the people of Israel, and even to the office of the president for the foul language they have used and the terrible things they have said? So many people are angry at them and their horrible and disgusting actions. So let's take a look at this whole tweet and let's see if it's really racist or not. Now, Trump calls out the anti-American nature of these Democrat congresswomen and notes that their countries of origin are horribly run, not all well maintained, and usually corrupt, which is absolutely true. If you look at all these countries, that's exactly what they are. So that's not racist or anything like that. He's just putting out a fact right there. He then tells them to go back and fix the problems those countries have. Then return to the United States to solve the problems here. So is this a racist tweet? For one, Trump isn't saying that one race is better than another. He's calling out the governments of foreign countries who definitely aren't as good as ours. Trying to say that the United States is just as good as Somalia is just like trying to say a lion is the same as a house cat. It just doesn't work. Trump didn't say Omar and Tlaib races are inferior to the white race that dominated American history. That would have been racist. What he said was that these women should retreat to these countries where these governments get it horribly wrong. Then upon fixing these governments, where problems that these hard leftists claim to loathe really are present, come back and show us how to fix the problems at home. It's key that he also said that they should come back. He doesn't denounce their citizenship within the U.S., nor does he remove the idea that they're elected officials. In fact, his tweet very clearly recognizes both. The tweet doesn't touch race, just crappy governments. And last I checked, government, they don't qualify as races. So they're just putting their own little spin on it, and they need to keep something out there to hit Trump with. Why do you think the mainstream media and all these individuals are doing this? Because they have nothing else. They use emotions to stir everything up. But if you actually read the tweet and you actually think for a second, you can see that it has nothing to do with race. The population right now is not falling for it anymore. Why do you think the mainstream media is losing their ratings? A new Democratic Party internal poll of white swing state voters found that only 22% of Americans have a favorable view of Ocasio-Cortez, and only 9% of Americans have a favorable view of Omar. People are starting to realize they don't agree with what they're saying. And it's starting to show now. People are waking up. So what does Nancy Pelosi do? Well, Nancy Pelosi says she will forcibly respond to Trump's tweets by passing a meaningless resolution. Why didn't she pass a resolution against Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez when she called her a racist? Very interesting. And you can see that they're trying to use emotions. This is all they have left. The deep state, the mainstream media, all they have left is emotions. To continue with the narrative that Trump's a racist, he's a misogynist pig, and they're using these words with no proof whatsoever. And they spend all their time looking at his tweets. I wonder if this is what Trump actually wants, because he's allowing the people now to see the tweets and think for themselves, while these people just continually talk and talk and talk, and people say, you know something, this has nothing to do with race. Now, the mainstream media, they're out there and they're trying to make this connection between the Attorney General, Bill Barr's father, that he worked with Jeffrey Epstein as a school teacher, and therefore A.G. Barr should recuse himself from the Epstein case. Well, there's one slight problem with this entire story. I mean, it sounds very shocking, and people are like, oh my God, that's right, he has a connection, but all the dates are wrong. The fake news, the New York Times, MSNBC, and the rest, because they all follow the same script, they got the dates wrong. The fake news New York Times reported in February 1974 that Bill Barr's father had resigned from the elite school. Bill Barr's father couldn't have worked with Epstein at Dalton School because he wasn't even there when Epstein worked there. He resigned months earlier. After the summer of 1974, Epstein began working as a teacher of mathematics. So wait a minute. Epstein began working as a teacher of mathematics after the summer of 74. When did Bill Barr's father retire? February. So he was already gone months before Epstein even came in. Again, another fake story. Let's head down to the border right now. Trump has decided to do something very interesting that has to do with asylum. And he moved to end open asylum protections to most Central American migrants traveling to the United States. He said, Congress won't act, so I will. According to this new rule, published in the Federal Register, asylum seekers who pass through another country first will be ineligible for asylum at the U.S. southern border. The rule, expecting to go into effect soon, also applies to children who have crossed the border alone. There are some exceptions. If someone has been trafficked, if the country the migrant passed through did not sign one of the major international treaties that govern how refugees are managed, or if an asylum seeker sought protection in a country but was denied, then a migrant could still apply for U.S. asylum, which means they have to go to the port of entry. The asylum seekers will be forced to apply in the first country they enter instead of the U.S. They'll have to be rejected by the first country before they can apply in the United States. The new rules are meant to end the massive number of illegal aliens claiming asylum at the U.S. southern border. Now, BNL News tweeted out the following. Breaking. ICE has already detained hundreds of illegal immigrants since yesterday in various locations across the U.S., including Texas, California, New York. Raids are expected to continue for several days. We see that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested around 20 criminal aliens and immigration fugitives with final deportation orders this week in San Diego. Of those arrested during the week-long operation, 85% had prior criminal convictions, including drug possession. Now, what's very interesting, the Dems, the deep state, the mainstream media, they're preparing for this mass roundup of individuals, thousands of people. And we're not getting that whatsoever. Yes, a couple of hundred, 20 over here. But I do believe that Trump's whole entire plan, the Patriots' entire plan, was to expose all these individuals, to show America what these individuals are really all about. Really think about it. What did Pelosi do? What did AOC do? What did Clinton do? They all broke the law and told individuals what to do against U.S. policy. And I believe Trump and the Patriots, they did this to expose all of these individuals. Remember, the deep state plan used to hide in the shadows. Yes, the alternative media and others were out there saying this is their plan, and people would say, no, that's impossible. What Trump and the Patriots are doing is they're making the deep state, the Dems, push their plan out into the light so everyone can see it. Nancy Pelosi, we want open borders. The United States is no longer a sovereign nation. We're going to tell people what to do. We're going to raise the Mexican flag on U.S. soil. Think about what is happening here. They're letting them tell the people their entire plan. Why? Because they're backed in a corner. And they're doing this out of panic, out of fear. And the Patriots are allowing them to destroy themselves. Paul Sperry tweeted out the following. Breaking. Over 30% of Mexico border crossing families are fraudulent families. Remember, a lot of human trafficking, a lot of people coming up saying, yes, these are my children to get into the country. And we're starting to see this entire thing backfire. Actually, I understand why Trump wants the citizenship question on the census. And I see why he wants to use the executive order instead to gather this information. And I see why the deep state, the Dems, don't want this information to come out. Well, we kind of knew why, but now we actually have facts. Pew Research decided to research the illegal aliens in the United States. And they came up with some very interesting numbers. Now, a lot of people think that maybe there's 1, 2, 3, maybe up to 4 million people that are here living in this country illegally. Well, according to the latest research by Pew Research Center, it reveals that roughly 11 to 22 million illegal aliens are living in the United States. And the average illegal alien has lived in the country for 15 years. In 2000, the average illegal alien lived in the U.S. for about 7.2 years. Today, the average time is double that. Think about that for a second. Now, with this many people in the country, what has happened here? About 7.6 million illegal aliens have held American jobs. Those jobs could have gone to American citizens, people who are here legally or have been born here legally. Think about that for a second. This is why Trump and the Patriots want this information. And it looks like they're going to get it because they need to show America what is really going on here. And this has nothing to do with race because a citizen is not in a group of race. A citizen can be black, Asian, white, Muslim, doesn't make a difference. It could be anybody that's here legally. That's a citizen. Those people who come over the border illegally, they're not citizens. And this has nothing to do with race whatsoever. Now, it looks like the entire plan with Iran is moving forward. It reminds me of North Korea, and it looks like Trump will be getting his way. What do I mean by that? President Hassan Rouhani says that he would be ready to hold U.S. talks right now and anywhere if the U.S. agrees to sanctions relief as a precondition. Now, Trump, he's not ready to speak to Iran. He wants them to come to the table with no conditions, just like North Korea. Once you have no conditions, we will then sit down and make a deal. This is the first step. Iran will go back and think about it. Yes, the deep state, they'll try to push war. Yes, we'll see other incidences happening near Iran with tankers and things like that. But eventually, Iran will fold. They will call Trump. And we will hear this new deal, which I do believe the framework has already been worked out in the background. This is the show that we are watching. Let's get into some of Q's posts here. This is post 3428. This is coming out of the New York Post. And it says, Inside the Victoria's Secret Pipeline to Jeffrey Epstein. Let me read a little bit of this article. In 2004, Elisabetta Tai was a 21-year-old Italian model with big dreams. A month after arriving in Manhattan, her booker gave her an Upper East Side address and told her he had set up a meeting with a man who would be able to get her a gig modeling for the Victoria's Secret catalog. He told me this is one of the most important people in modeling. He said that the man is in charge of Victoria's Secret and he's going to change your life. Jeffrey Epstein did end up changing Ty's life, but not in the way she expected, she said. So Q is giving us this article telling us that there's a connection between Epstein, Victoria's Secrets, and Wexner, which we already knew. And Q says, follow Maxwell, follow the family. Anon posted the following about the family of Maxwell. Robert Maxwell is the father. He was born Jean Ludwig Hyman, was a British media proprietor and member of parliament. He was originally from Czechoslovakia. Maxwell rose from poverty to build an extensive publishing empire. And then we have his wife, Elizabeth Maxwell. We have Kevin Maxwell, the son, Ian Maxwell, Anne Maxwell, Christine Maxwell, and it goes on and on and on. And Q says UK, US, 1 and 2. So, as we know, Robert Maxwell, he was part of the British government. And they now live here in the United States. Umbrella, serve, leapfrog, 1 to 4 points of contact. So, umbrella surveillance, listing more than one level of connections relative to the main suspect, Ghislaine Maxwell. Each connection level is a hop. So the first hop might be that Robert Maxwell was with the British government. He has a publishing empire. He's very wealthy. The second leads to the U.S. That's where his family lives. They're here in the U.S. Connection to Epstein. The third might be Saudi Arabia, which we'll be getting into. The fourth, we'll have to wait and see. We must find the fourth hop. Now, are these hops correct? No. Everyone is still looking into it. And there might be something else. The fourth hop might be the New York Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. Because Q says open source, find for in brackets bold, and gave us a link to Zimbio with photos. And there's pictures of Ghislaine Maxwell with many different individuals. One of the photos is with Martine Asselin. The other photo is with Lisa Stone, Esperanza Spaulding, and Christy Kaylor. And there's another photo of Ronald O. Perlman, Allison Jackson. And Q gives us brackets bold, New York Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. Make this connection. Q. So Jeffrey Epstein, he will agree to give up names of individuals who took part in the trafficking ring he's charged with running in exchange for a substantially lower sentence. His lawyer said that he'll agree to cooperate with the investigation, including giving up names of those individuals that paid for activities with underage girls in exchange for a maximum sentence not to exceed 5 years. So it looks like he's ready to make a deal. And from our last report, I do believe that Ray Chandler is also naming names. Now, very interestingly, we know that Epstein had different safes in different areas. FBI agents cracked open a safe in Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan mansion, discovered piles of cash, dozens of diamonds, and an expired passport from the 80s under a different name that listed his residence as Saudi Arabia. Now, the passport was issued in the name of a foreign country. It was issued in the 80s. It already expired. It shows a picture of Jeffrey Epstein and another name. That is very interesting. It's also a different safe than the one that's in the off-limits room on the private island in the Caribbean. They haven't cracked that one open yet. But Saudi Arabia is very interesting, and that rings a bell. Let's go back to post 2049. Q says Saudi Arabia access closed. Epstein Island access closed. And it says Haiti, North Korea, China, Russia, Cuba, Sudan, Syria, Yemen, Libya, Somalia. All the access is closed. Some are still pending, which I do believe they're closed now. But under this, it says Hillary Clinton equals Alice. Saudi Arabia equals Wonderland. Who are the white rabbits? The question is Jeffrey Epstein one of the white rabbits? Riri drops Saudi Arabia, have faith for God and country. Now, Adam Klasfeld tweeted out the following. Ross Miller, many individuals identifying themselves as victims and witnesses have come forward, and prosecutors have been able to dramatically expand the scope of the investigation. No estimate of the number of new accusers. So it sounds like a lot of people are coming forward now. This case is getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the day. Post 3429. How do you eliminate a liability? Well, you remove it, you kill it. Where is Epstein being held? He's in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. Reconcile. Do you believe in coincidences? Powerful people connected. And power is in all caps. Panic. So is Q trying to say that the power outage in New York was going to be used to take out Jeffrey Epstein? Well, scenario one, they were trying to shut down the power and have the entire city go dark, then make the hit. Scenario two, shut down the power in a certain location away from where he was staying, because 42nd Street is pretty far from where the correctional facility is. Have chaos throughout the city, redirect resources. The lights aren't working in certain areas. Subways are shut down. And throughout the chaos, there could be something happening within the prison. Maybe. So the question is, was the Manhattan power outage an attempt to take out Epstein? Q is letting us know that this was their plan. Post 3430. Q says the Great Awakening. Now, the Great Awakening is not just going after the deep state players and arresting them for treason, sedition. The Great Awakening is about waking the people up to everything that's been going on, everything that you thought was a conspiracy, everything that you thought, oh no, that can't be true. Why would these people do this? It's waking the people up to understand that this economic system it's not a benefit to the people. This is the Great Awakening. And once this information flows out and people start to see what is really going on, that's when people really wake up. Will people wake up to hear that people are spying on Trump? No, not really. Will people wake up when they hear the same people have been having sex with underage girls or boys, or maybe even torturing them? Yes. Then the Patriots can take it a step further. Post 3431. And Anon gives us a picture of Maxwell and other individuals, and these other individuals are Nat Rothschild, Nefer Suvio, Nick Rhodes, and under this, it says, here she is with a Rothschild, left to right, and gives us all the names that I just mentioned. Q says, coincidence, those mentioned in the past are now coming into the light. Think LDR, Gloria Vanderbilt, think Epstein, think ... Q. Post 3432. And Anon gives us a picture, a close-up picture of Epstein's Island, and points out certain things where there are steps leading down to the ocean. There are strange tables outside. There are doors that allow you underground. And you can see there's a sundial. There's many other things which we showed yesterday. And the entire island looks like it's set up to be some type of sacrifice to keep everything hidden away from satellites or anyone trying to view what is going on here. I mean, there are tables on a ledge. Are those used for sacrifices? There are paths that lead down from this table down to the ocean. Is that where they disposed of it, where a boat came and picked it up? There are doorways that lead underground. We know from the Instagram post from Ray Chandler, there are steps that lead underground. And there are many strange things on this island. I mean, you look at the temple, you look at the entire island itself. There are many odd anomalies on this island. And of course, Trump says we need to go to the island. That's where everything is. Q says this is not another 4-year election. Drain the swamp does not simply refer to removal of those corrupt in D.C. God wins. Q. And we've said this before. It's not just about certain corrupt individuals in D.C. It's about all the players that all work together. All of this has to be drained. Post 3433. Q says fake news attack only validate the message old guard threatened. Think size and scope of continual mainstream media attacks. Godfather 3. Q is letting us know that the mainstream media, they're becoming desperate. The more attacks you see, the more emotions they try to heat up among the people. That means they're becoming very, very desperate. Q makes a reference to Godfather 3. What does that mean? Well, we know that Snow White referred to CIA. Alice referred to Hillary Clinton. Godfather 3 is the Vatican. Q is letting us know the Vatican will be making the news very, very soon. Let's get into post 3434. Q says a week to remember, and this week is not over. And a lot has come out during this week. Let's move on to post 3435. Gives us Smollett, in brackets bold, federal charges coming. Watch the news. These people are stupid. So it looks like everything the deep state tried to do, getting Smollett off, where they used Kim Foxx, where she dropped all charges. Now there are prosecutors looking into Kim Foxx and what she has done. It looks like there are going to be federal charges coming out, and Smollett is going to be making the news once again. Let's go back to post 3255. Remember when Q gave us a link to Trump's tweet? FBI and Department of Justice to review the outrageous Jussie Smollett case in Chicago. It is an embarrassment to our nation. It shall be done. Q. Well, guess what? It looks like they investigated, and it looks like they're going to be making an announcement very, very soon. And as you can see, all the walls are closing in on the deep state. Everything that they were pushing is falling apart. They're being exposed. This is part of the plan. Take the plan that they had in the shadows, bring it out into the light. Let everyone see what they wanted to turn this country into, what they actually wanted to do. Expose the sex trafficking. Expose these high-level individuals and show the people what these people are actually about. Think about all the people that are screaming. Think about the Hollywood actors and actresses that are out there tweeting like crazy, cursing and screaming at Trump. Why do you think they're out there? Because they know if this information gets out, they are ruined. Think about the politicians. Think about royalty. Think about the Vatican. Yes, spying is bad. Yes, you have treason. But once you bring this part into the picture of all of this, this is the clincher. This is what is going to wake up the people. And here we are. This is all part of the plan. And the plan is going according to schedule. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.